Right, Dani
Oh,
the
can you
barrister.
not hear me? Yeah.
I'm gonna add her to my live. Ooh, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. Shut up, Siri.
Oh, on the Instagram live, you're sideways, babes.
I know. That's what I was worried about, but it's okay. I'm just gonna put it like that for now. And then if my phone dies, I'll change it. Hi. So I've turned the volume off on Instagram just because.
Okay, yeah, let me turn the volume off on Instagram.
Ooh! How are we gonna do this at the same time?
I think turn the volume down on one.
Okay, I'm turning the volume off on the laptop. There. I've muted
Ah,
my laptop
okay,
now.
right. I'll turn the volume down on the laptop as well.
Yeah, because otherwise,
Maybe, yeah. I think that's better.
I think that's working.
Yeah. Yeah. This is right.
Hi. Hi, Angie on
It's
YouTube.
in two screens, guys.
Okay. All right. Let's yeah, we got plenty of screens. I'm just gonna make sure my camera isn't wilding out.
I think mine's. Maybe I should push it back and then move. Sorry,
Oh,
guys. Admini, technically
oh my
things.
gosh, I know exactly what I was doing wrong. That's terrible.
Oh, guys, I'm excited to have this little discussion.
I am too. Yay. Okay, my camera is finally working. Everything I think is working now. I'm just
Good.
gonna pull this a little closer to me and angle it a bit that way. It sounds so funny because no one's on the YouTube, so no one knows the reason I'm doing this yet. Which
Yeah.
way is this way? I want
Oh,
to go
yeah.
this way. How do I go this way? Okay, I think I've managed to achieve what I'm doing.
It's hard, isn't it? I've got everything really close to each other.
If you got everything really close, I'm
Yeah.
trying to like rotate my table
Okay.
because I'm all the way because I've split our screens. So you're on YouTube, you're on one side, and I'm on the other. So I think
Okay.
rather than move myself, I'm just gonna move my camera. I hope everyone doesn't think I'm just crazy. Okay, that's gonna have to do. No,
Yeah.
it's not. I'm
All
too
right.
much of a perfectionist. I can't handle this.
From here, it looks fine, so I feel like we're
Do you
good.
know what is? I know why I'm
Guys,
stressing. I
down
know
if
why
you
I'm
think it's
stressing.
good.
That was why I was stressing. I wasn't in the middle of the camera enough.
Yeah.
So I felt stressed. But yeah, hi.
Hello.
Thanks for coming. And thank you,
Oh, thank
everyone
you for
who
asking.
is all tuned in, hanging out with us this evening. So we are live currently on Instagram. So, hi, Instagram fam. And we're also
Hi,
live
Instagram.
on YouTube. So,
Hi,
wherever you're
YouTube.
watching this, we're glad to have you. And so we had lots of things that we wanted to talk about. So I thought what might be nice, because like I said in my post yesterday, I have not been around. So I've been really looking forward to the chance to get to know the people who've been following me and supporting me and what they're doing. And hopefully, this will be the first of lots of these kinds of conversations that I have. So, thank you. And everybody who has, if you're not currently aware of Dani and her social media, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see just here, here, there is all of her social media details and everything. And so make sure you follow her. And she's really cool. And she's also a fellow Warwick grad. So that's big
Warwick.
energy, big Warwick energy.
Give me the energy, guys.
So I thought it would be nice to just hear, like, just tell me about your journey though. So
Oh.
where are you now, and when did you want to start doing this journey?
Mm. So right now I'm on the GDL. So I'm on the GDL at the University of Law. So that's obviously the law conversion course done after my 3 years at Warwick. And at Warwick, I studied sociology. Shout out to the sociology department at Warwick. Amazing. I had the best time and my intellectual abilities like widened so much there. In terms of when the passion started for the bar, I would say when I was around 16, 15, 16, I was aware that being a lawyer was a thing I could possibly do. And at that time, you know, at sixth formish area, you're considering where your life is going to go. So I actually ended up attending open lectures at Berkeley University when I was
Wow.
16. Yeah, just because I wanted to understand what the law was about, what it was I could kind of do with it, and I was just generally interested. And that's actually where I met my mentor, who's still my mentor today. So I think that that's the first point of where I said to myself, I'm interested in the law, and then to be a
I'm gonna
barrister.
start pursuing it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing. And that initiative that you've had, have you felt, has that come to serve you well at any
Yes.
points?
Yeah, definitely. I think I feel lucky now to have had exposure to shadowing barristers and to the law so early, because it meant that I made the decision to do a law conversion rather than take law as an undergrad at university, because I was advised that it's actually probably good to develop skills in other areas or in areas that you may want to pursue in the law
Mm.
as your undergraduate. So in terms of the steps I took after sixth form, sorry, it definitely helped that I had that early inkling and early passion for the law. Definitely.
That's great. So when you sent me so you sent me a DM and you had a
Yes.
question for me,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Mm.
realized I've been really silly and I didn't get the question up.
Oh, I don't know.
Um,
I can remember it
but you can
though.
remember it. So I was
Yes.
thinking, why don't you sort of re-ask it? Obviously, make sure that you admit anything you need to admit. But why
Yeah.
don't you re-ask it and then we'll just start chatting from there.
So I remember saying, "Hi, blessing."
Hi.
Hi. And that I often feel like I have a conflict when it comes to the personal and my career and wanting to pursue a career at the bar. I feel like these two things sometimes clash, and I struggle to understand where to place maybe blame if things don't go well, or um, I struggle to understand if why things are happening and why certain attitudes are being thrown my way. So I remember just asking you, do you experience this? Have you ever seen this happen to anybody else? And if so, please let me know, because it'll be good to see someone that I can relate to. So I just remember that was the gist of the conversation.
Thanks for repeating it. But yeah, so in summary, as I said in my response to you, I deal with that every day.
Mm.
And it's this kind of, you know, it's really cringe referencing this one, but Obama's, the book he wrote, The Audacity of Hope, was that what it was
Yeah,
called?
yeah, I think so.
People
Something.
do find your own confidence and sense of yourself audacious. They don't
Mm,
understand why you feel a certain way about yourself if they
mm,
don't feel that way about themselves.
yeah.
So then it kind of puts you into a suspect slash other position. And
Hmm.
I've found throughout the time becoming a barrister, there's things that I can do with a separate group of people or in a separate area of my life, and it's very normal, doesn't bat an eyelid. As soon as
Exactly.
I'm interacting in the bar sphere, all of a
Yes.
sudden I'm wearing my suspect slash other,
Yes.
costume. And
Hmm.
no matter how mild mannered or myself I am,
Yes.
people are hostile to receiving
Mm.
it. And having a hostile reception when you're doing absolutely nothing to
Nothing. Exactly.
warrant a hostile reception, it's quite ironic because often, especially if you're a black woman, you come from a culture that is very strong, direct, expressive.
Yeah.
So you're almost thinking to yourself, I'm on my best behavior.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're upset.
Yeah.
But if you
And
think,
that's where
yeah,
the
carry on.
conflict
No, jump in.
is. So that's where the conflict arises, because, as you say, you are given that cloak of you're impersonating someone in that moment. You are given that cloak, so you have no control over it in that moment. And I think that's when it becomes quite troubling or frustrating, more so. And that's where annoyance can sometimes produce itself.
Yeah. And do you know, something I always like to remember is that I do like to win, and I win.
Yeah.
When I
Well,
want
that's the
something, I get
barristers,
it. And that's
you
the
know.
whole reason I chose the bar.
Mm.
You know, I think sometimes people almost underestimate you because they think that you've just stumbled into this profession like Alice
Yeah.
stumbled into Wonderland, and
Yeah.
you
Only.
have absolutely no control or direction over where you're going. You don't know
Mm.
where you're going, and therefore they can step in and tell you, oh, by the way, you're not going to make it. Oh, by the way,
Mm.
no Chambers is going to like you.
Yeah.
And it's like, that wasn't your thing to say. In fact, for me to be here, I am very confident in my ability to finish this journey.
Exactly.
And once one gets out of one's own way and you stop
Mm.
overthinking and saying, I'm not good enough, and you just get to the business of being good enough and confident, you find that most of your obstacles have 0% to do with you, and a
I
hundred
completely
percent
agree.
to do with how people are receiving you just
Seeing.
walking the
Yes.
path. Which
Yes.
is so odd because you're like, hang on,
Yeah.
there's hundreds of other people becoming barristers. What is it about me that's got you
Mm.
so out of
Agitated.
sorts? Why are you
Yeah.
agitated? And I think it's
Mm.
because people can't compute your confidence. They don't,
Yeah.
they're looking at you like, it doesn't make sense. Why isn't Dani stressed?
Mm.
Why isn't Dani doubting herself? I'm doubting myself, so
Mhm.
why isn't she? And then
Yeah.
they, like, I had this
They
one
want to pass that on.
this one lady,
Go on.
um so there was a whole separate thing that I was upset about. But this lady came and, to comfort me, told me, completely uncorrelated to the conversation, that she knows that I've got social media and she knows that I've done all these things, and because of that reason the bar will never accept me, no chambers will ever want me. I tried to explain the reason I do these things is to help other people. She goes, what's the point if they get in and you don't? And the whole thing became about how she was like, they'll never accept you, they'll never accept you. And then I was
Right.
like, okay, Mystic Meg. One, I didn't
Yeah.
ask.
Exactly.
Two, you're not a barrister.
Exactly. Oh, she wasn't a barrister.
Three,
Well,
what has made you feel comfortable to speak to me in this way?
and
Why?
that third point is the a very important point, because I think being of a certain identity, so being a black woman in particular, I think it does, and I say this in a very delicate way. It does sometimes put you in a position where people believe that you're an easy target,
Mm,
or that they can get away with saying things that they may not say to somebody else. They believe that they can have an opinion, period, about life,
unsolicited opinion.
your prospects are. And that is particularly unique, I think, to people of a certain identity, for sure. And I think that was a definite point that you made there, of real substantial importance, honestly. Yeah.
Well, an important thing to remember is that anybody actively telling you you can't do something isn't who you should listen to. And
Mm.
there's a really irritating thing that I find when you are navigating the bar and you're not from a traditional background, and that's people focus less on helping you specifically as an individual
Yeah.
and more on telling you all the reasons why you won't do it. But it's like, Or what you could do is actually help me become a better barrister.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of people actually don't really know how to do that.
Yeah.
They know how to tell us to be scared and to stop trying, but they don't actually know how to equip us and give us the tools to be
Exactly.
successful and to get to the end, because a
Hmm.
lot of the people in during the journey at various points that we navigate have
Mm.
absolutely no
No clue.
skill set in
Yeah.
computing our value. They don't
Yes.
know why we're valuable because they don't understand it. And
Mm.
that's why I'm always learning something for myself, is that I need to stick where I'm valuable
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
focus only on the people that actually value me, because
Mm.
I have there's no lack of love and appreciation and respect for you in the right place. The challenge is there are so few places
Places.
that
Exactly.
have members of chambers or members of the legal community that have done the work to recognize and appreciate value in all
Yeah.
of its different forms,
Forms.
leaving
Exactly.
us in a position where the further, if this is the norm, the further you get away from it, the less they value you, because
Yeah.
they're like, but if you were valuable, you would be closer
You
to
should be
here,
with
right?
the norm.
But it's like,
Exactly.
no, actually, either you could be here, you could be here. You're still equally valuable. There's no
Mm.
loss in value. There's just a difference in expression,
Mm.
and it's
And I also,
hard.
yeah, I agree. And you say that norm, and I think it's important to consider that that norm is also been formulated on certain societal views
Mm,
and a certain history that automatically pushes away certain individuals. So already from the onset, a lot of people are already away from that norm.
mm,
So to then still, as you said, some people come forward and have no skill set to tell you or to tell us that don't go for the bar, yet they still believe that they can still do that because they sit within that norm. And I find that so peculiar more than anything.
it's a peculiar thing. How else? What else do you think about it? Like, how else
In
does it make you
terms,
feel?
it's something that, I mean, as someone that wants to be a barrister, there's a lot of trials and a lot of struggles that I would go through. So it's something that I see as a challenge that I need to overcome. And as you're saying, it's more about being confident in your own abilities
Mm.
and being faithful in your hard work.
Amen.
And
That's the
above
energy.
anything, anybody can tell me, well, I don't think you're going to make it. And as an aspiring barrister, as someone said to me with quotation marks like that around it, aspiring barrister said to me one time, you can throw that energy at me, but my actions will show different because I know my work ethic, I know my value. And whenever anyone asks me, well, why do you want to be at the bar? Why do you want to be a barrister? The first thing I say is that I believe in my intellectual ability.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in my ability to connect with individuals, and I believe in my ability to work hard. So no matter what else anybody and whatever any other societal norm or prejudice that wants to come my way,
Mm.
I, I use those three important factors to give myself a foundation. And I think that's the only way I've been able to keep going. It's the only way I will keep going, essentially.
Amen. And if you haven't already, make sure that you follow Dani on her Instagram.
Hello.
It's Dani
Yeah,
the Barrister, and it's all linked on the Instagram post sharing this. But also make sure you go and follow her, because as you guys see, everyone's gassed in the comments because what you're saying is true, and
it's
it's
true.
wonderful stuff. And this is exactly the energy you have to have, because I found myself. One very surreal moment I had was when I had done this competition at my law school during the GDL, and I got into the final and I was in the Supreme Court. and I was standing there, about to address the judges and getting ready, and
Mm.
my mum was with me, and I was like, well, we're here now.
We're here. It's here.
And once you're in the moment, you remember what you're doing it for. At the end of the day, we didn't become or decide to become barristers because we are scared of being in front
Mm.
of a judge in the Supreme Court. That's not something that scares us. That's something
Exactly.
we want. The
Mm.
scary element is all of the roadblocks in between,
In
but
between.
they can be broken through. And
Yeah.
a lot of the thing that we have to accept when you are coming from the position of the sort of underappreciated or less represented, you, as well as champion, you also have the role of teacher, and you
Teacher.
have the unfortunate but wonderful blessing of always leaving an impression upon everyone you meet. That's what my mum
Yeah.
always says. Because blessing, there's no one that's ever going to forget you. And
Likewise. Good.
so energy. So when you've got that type of energy, it's
Mm.
important to just constantly contextualize the situation. Make sure that you've broken it down, because
Yeah.
our danger can be if we personalize, we
Yeah.
don't know how to change anything about ourselves, because that is
Mm.
impossible.
Mm.
So as soon as you allow yourself to say, okay, the reason X person said this to me is because there's something fundamentally or personally wrong with me,
Yeah.
we will be stuck in an endless loop, because we can't break that loop, because there's
Mm.
nothing bloody wrong with you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you're never going to figure out what it is about you that's wrong, because there isn't
Mm.
anything wrong. And
Yeah.
that's a lesson that, can translate into all types of relationships,
It does.
including
Yeah.
relationships with opposite genders.
Mm.
If you're constantly trying to figure out what is it about myself that is
Mm.
incorrect, and how do I correct myself to get through this, you will never correct yourself.
Yeah.
Henceforth, you will never get through it. The
Mm.
question you should ask is, what is it about myself that equips me to get through this, and
Yeah.
how do I set myself up the best
Yeah.
so that I just get through it?
Exactly. And I think sometimes it's difficult, but especially because I studied sociology at my undergraduate, so I definitely they call it the sociological imagination, where
Mm.
you're constantly in tune with broader themes happening to your everyday life, your every movement, your
Mm.
every interaction, and being aware of these things sometimes can make what you're saying difficult. But as you do say, it's about contextualizing each of those moments. It's about thinking about those broader issues and understanding, why is this happening?
Mm.
What does this connect to more than my personal? Okay, yes, because most of the time it really does.
Yeah.
Then what is it about my external that is triggering this response from an individual or an institution? And that's when you can say to yourself, well, let me sit down and understand my worth
Mm-hmm.
and push that forward in order to maintain my own sense of self and pursue whatever career, whatever path that I want to take. So contextualizing each of your moments, I think, is an important thing to do for
And
sure.
that's a big process that I go through. I'm a huge thinker. I
Mm.
sit around, like, after I go through something major, I sit in my room and I write things out, and I think about it, and I plan it out, and I think, okay, this person said this to me, or this person did this to me, or this person hurt me in this way. And I think it through, and I map it out, and it all percolates in my brain. And then
Yeah.
I always end up the same way. I understand either if it's a me problem or a them problem.
All
And
them
once I've
problem.
identified if it's a them problem, I then evaluate how much do I care about them. So
Exactly.
if it's my mum, I'll be like, all right, fine. we'll work it out.
Gotta give it. Gotta give it. Yeah.
Oh, women
Yeah.
say hi, women. Um, and if it's someone I don't care about, then I'm like, okay, cool. So
Yeah.
I've had to do that when I've been networking with barristers, and I've had people say some
Mm.
wayward stuff to me about being a bog standard 2-1 from Warwick. I had to sit there and actually be like, who is this person?
Yeah.
Okay, this
What's
person
your
is a
value?
barrister. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at that. Who is this person as a barrister? All right. You specialize in a very niche area. Okay. Not like I'm getting anything out of an interaction with you anyway. And let's look
Yeah.
at your network. Where do you lie within my. Oh, okay. You come from a chambers that has exclusively hired for the same two universities for the past 30 years. I don't think I've got a lot to gain from you. So I'm
Exactly.
now in a position where I can bin this and move on.
Exactly.
But
Because they weren't on the list to begin with or someone
yes,
to help. So
but I've had similar interactions with people who I consider mentors who have checked me and said, you need to watch this thing. And
mm,
I've reflected and I've thought, you are so bloody important to the trajectory of my career that I'm going to listen to everything you said and I'm going to do
exactly.
it.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
everybody is different, has a different level of importance to you, and you've
Yeah.
got to weigh up how important. And I think that's what we can do when we're navigating the bar being black and female. Be
Mm,
ruthless about your strategy.
yeah.
Is this
Mm,
person remotely helpful for you?
yeah.
Because if they're just another voice in the chorus, you don't need that. But if
Yeah.
they're really coming through and and saying, I think I could be someone in a position to help you with
To,
something
to help and
tangible,
propel you. Yeah.
now we can start to listen. But for everyone else, we've got to block them out and keep moving because
Yeah.
we've got to have a plan, a strategy. And one thing I wanted to do is I want to do an event, but now with the virus, I think I have to do it like online. But I wanted to
Maybe
do a
online.
vision boarding event
Okay.
where we sort of put together our professional career in aspirations and goals because we've
Mm,
got aspirations and goals. Most of us who are black and female doing this career know exactly why we want to do it, know exactly
exactly.
where we want to go with it. And that is
Yeah.
so especially for women in general, because if you look at the drop off rate for female barristers, 10 years into practice, a lot of female barristers are no longer there.
Yes.
And when you as a woman enter the profession, you've got a 10-year plan. Most
Exactly.
women have
Which
got
is
a
so rare.
solid 10-year plan.
Yeah.
And so making sure that you are able to sustain a career
Mm,
means you've got to be around people who will help you with that. And that's hard,
yeah.
but it means you can be ruthless because you know exactly
Yeah.
what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And now these days, these things roll off my back and I couldn't care less. Like when
Yeah.
someone was trying to have a go at me because at my call to the bar, I wore like a like cute little mini like tuxedo dress, suit dress.
I love that. But did
And
you get that from Boohoo? Because I feel like that's
I got
where
it
I
from,
saw
yeah,
it.
I got it from Boohoo. It slaps.
I thought so. I loved it. I was like, I've seen that.
Right? And she was really trying to get in at me, being like, barristers are supposed to wear long traditional things. And I was like, are you a barrister though? So it's actually fine. Like, I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna weigh this up and choose to just put this to the side. So, do you feel like, where do you put all your rage? Where do you
Mm.
put all of your frustration? Do you have somewhere to
Yes.
put all of that? Because that's another thing I mentioned to you because we talked on the phone quickly and I said how I'm in
Yes.
love with Nicki Minaj because I need
Yeah.
somewhere to put my rage. Why is my mom calling me? Sorry, my mom started calling me. No, because I need somewhere to put my energy.
Yeah.
And so where do you put your energy?
Well, as I've mentioned to you before, some people will see on my Instagram page as well. I've been into performing arts essentially my whole life. And one of my biggest releases is dancing, singing, acting, you name it. So that's a massive release for me. Anything creative in that realm
Mm,
is my way of letting go and not releasing that rage,
mm.
releasing pent up stresses after a day of receiving microaggression and maybe having to defend myself more than the ordinary person. I just maybe go to my room, put on a track, and make a routine really quickly, 30, 40 minutes, and just let my creative juices flow as a positive form of release.
Positivity. Yeah, it
So I
releases
often
and it's
say this.
positive.
Exactly. And it's that cliche saying of my haters are my motivator. It is that cliche
Amen.
saying. It is because I'm not gonna then allow myself to get home, be really drained, really tired, stressed about the whole day of what I've received. Instead, I put it into something positive. I put it into something I enjoy. So in fact, I can keep getting hit by these issues, but at the end of the day, it's going to produce more positive outcomes for me. So that's how my life is going to continue going. And that's how I think a lot of women of color will start to rise because you rise from the negativity essentially. So,
There's a Nicki Minaj line that says, I truly believe that my haters are my motivators. So,
mm,
Kim, let it keep you, like you said, that's what keeps you ready. That's what keeps your energy high. And I almost, I almost like that moment of clarity I get one after I've taken a big hit
yeah,
because I know I'm like, ooh, I heal like Wolverine. Now I'm
yeah,
back.
yeah.
And so
Honestly,
people
and it's
always
like,
get so confused with me because they're like, what's up? Why are you not upset anymore? It's like,
yeah,
I'm back.
yeah. And I
And that
think it's also,
ability to bounce back.
yeah, and I think I'm similar in terms of I enjoy those moments because I know that I'm learning. And if
Mm.
I'm learning from those moments, I'm getting better. And if I'm getting better, I'm getting closer to where I want to be. So these things that were happening, like recently, I had a really weird moment with an individual where I was just thrown a lot of negativity to basically that individual was saying that I'm not going to make it on the bar, that I don't belong,
Mm.
and that I should essentially check myself because it's not a place for me.
Mm.
And, despite that, I said to myself, well, regardless of that, I'm still learning from what you're saying because I'm rising above it. And from rising above it, I'm gonna now take those attributes and bring that to the bar and bring that
Amen.
and bring that to specific situations like when I'm with a client, or every single instance is something I'm learning for that career. So bring it on
Everything is a
essentially.
learning moment. Everything is a teachable moment. And
Mm,
something I'm really encouraging more of, and I will continue to encourage more of, is that if you are a woman aspiring to the bar, you are a businesswoman. If you are a
mm,
woman, black woman aspiring to the bar, you are a black female businesswoman. You
yeah,
can relate a lot with these women. And if you're feeling like you need inspiration, motivation, look at these women because you are your brand, you are
yes,
your business, you are
yeah,
your PR. You know, I was watching this Vogue video about models talking about their secrets and like the
yeah,
realities about being a model. And they're like, you are your PR. You are
mm,
your, you're the marketing team. You're the creative director. You're security because you have to guard your
yeah,
boundaries and your peace. You're
exactly.
everything.
You're
So
everything.
treat yourself like a business because you are a
Mm,
business. And if it
mm.
doesn't pay you money, don't pay it any mind.
Anytime, exactly.
You've got to remember that you are a business. Is this helping you become? Danny the barrister is the business. Blessing at the
Mm,
bar is the business. Everybody
business.
in this live, if you, whatever you want to imagine yourself as a barrister, that is your business. And you do not let, there's two things that you don't have in business. You don't have friends in business, and you never have a first chance twice.
Yes.
So you've got to always remember that No friends in business, only
Mm,
business in business. And
exactly.
you will not have the chance to make a first impression two times. So if you don't plug
Exactly.
your business when it counts, that person isn't going to think of you. So
Exactly.
knowing your brand as a barrister, even as an
Mm,
aspiring barrister, is essential, because then you know what it is that you're working for, and
mm.
you never forget that,
Yeah.
because you shouldn't. Because a lot of people won't, because once we're in the bar, it's a whole jungle out there to try and get
Oh,
work.
it's a whole nother journey to go through. This is only step
So,
one.
this is step one: establish the brand, establish the business, know the vision for the business, and remember that that is who you are.
Mm,
And you invest in a business, you invest in yourself.
yeah.
And you, by investing in yourself, you then can take on more and more challenges,
Yeah.
until ultimately, we're in the Supreme Court for real. We're helping our clients for real. And all
For
of
real.
these things that we've done will make us all the better at doing that end goal.
Exactly.
How you feel now? Do you feel like we've had like
I
a good
feel,
chat?
yes. I was thinking to myself, how much of a epiphany can I have in an hour? I was going to see by the end, like how much I would transform in an hour. But honestly, that's definitely given me a lot to build a better foundation on now. And
Mm,
especially now that I'm getting closer to applying for pupillage and these really important steps,
mm.
it's so important to brand myself. It's so important to contextualize any moment of, as I say, microaggressions or racialized, anything racialized or gendered towards me, to contextualize those moments
Write
and
it down,
reconsider, right,
contextualize it.
exactly, and consider who is this person, what value are they to me and my business, what value are they. If they're important, okay, let's sit down, let's
Figure it
rethink
out.
ourselves, exactly. But if not, let's swiftly move on and keep traveling forwards. So this has been really helpful, really
Yay, I'm
helpful.
glad. And everyone, thank you so much for tuning in on the live and being here. It's been really great having everybody on YouTube and also on Instagram. Um, if you have more questions and more things you want to chat about, I'm going to go and ask for the next couple of moments. I'm just going to ask Dani to talk just about her different platforms and profiles. And if you've just heard of her, why you should follow her. But if you have questions in the interim, ask them now. Otherwise, once I'm finished talking to Dani, I'm off. So, yeah, Dani, over to you. Where can the people find you? Where should they look?
So my Instagram handle is Dani the Barrister. So if you just follow on there, you'll see a lot of my progress, my journey, my hobbies, my dancing, anything like that. And also, I'm releasing a YouTube channel very soon where I'll be vlogging and showing what it's like to be on the GDL, because I feel like there's not a lot of content. I think Blessing was the only person that I was able to get information about this when I was on my way to the GDL. So I'm doing a lot of really in-depth videos about the GDL, about the bar, to kind of reduce that secrecy of being a barrister and pursuing that industry. So if you give me a follow, you'll be really informed in this journey, and it'll be really worthwhile. And I really want more people to kind of come on it with me as well. So yeah, so
Nice.
Instagram, Dani the Barrister, and my YouTube is Dani Alaka.
Thank you, Dani. Thank you, everyone, for
Thank you.
tuning in. I'm gonna do this more. Do you know what? I don't know what else I'm gonna be doing in this lockdown. So this everybody who DMs me, if you send me a DM, there's always gonna be an opportunity that we're gonna have a chat like this. So that's my new thing. So thank you, Dani, for being the first, and
Thank you for
hopefully,
having me. Thank you.
yeah, and hopefully we'll do this a lot more in the future.
Yes, definitely. We
All
have
right.
to do this
Thank
again.
you. All right. Okay. I'll head
Okay.
off now. End the live, guys. Thank you, everybody.
Bye,
Peace out and
everyone.
have a
Thank
good
you.
evening. Bye.